Hi there, this is Sachin. This is my first video, and we'll talk about Linux introduction part, what Linux is, how Linux differs from Unix system, and how it differs from Windows also. As this is my first video, I have focused on Linux introduction part, but in my upcoming sections, we'll talk about Linux practical activities that we can do on the shell. Okay. Also, I'll be talking about the Linux in industries. How do we use Linux in industries? I'll be talking about all that stuff in my later sessions. But today, let's focus on the introduction part of Linux. Okay. So, what is Linux? It is nothing but it is an open source operating system. What is an open source? Open source software is a software with with source code that anyone can inspect, modify, and enhance it. Okay. In simple terms, if you say, then it is a software for which original source code is made freely available to the public, and they can modify it, inspect it, and maybe redistribute it. Okay. So this is Linux open source. Okay, let's talk about an operating system. Okay, this is a common knowledge. Okay, operating system is nothing but it is a system that manages all the hardware resources associated with the system. Okay, in simple words, if you say, then it is an operating system that manages the communication between your software and the hardware. Okay, that does the work for you. So this is what operating system means. Open source, the code is available with the public. They can use it, modify it, and redistribute it. This is what open source means. Whereas operating system is a system that manages communication between your software and the hardware. Okay, let's talk about the components of an operating system. So operating system comprises of bootloader. What is an bootloader? Bootloader is a mechanism that processes your operating system, that helps the operating system to get installed in your system, and this is done by a bootloader. Okay, for Linux, we use Lilo, Grub, and Grub2. Lilo was to be used in earlier versions of Linux. Grub is for RHEL 6 and Grub2 is for RHEL 7. Okay, so this is bootloader. Second is the kernel. Now this is very important. Kernel is the actual Linux that we deal with. Without kernel, you cannot do anything in Linux. It is the core at the system and manages CPU, memory, RAM, and other peripheral devices that are connected to your system. So kernel is the core part of Linux. Okay, this is the actual Linux. Then we'll talk about daemons. Daemons are the background services that keeps on running at the background without your knowledge. Okay, it might starts when you enter into the desktop or when you log in into the desktop. Okay, these are the background services which keeps on running without your knowledge, and to perform a specific task. Okay, then we'll talk about shell. What is shell? Shell is nothing but a text interface that allows you to fire commands which will execute a particular task for you. Okay, in simple words, if you say, then shell is nothing but it will control your whole system, okay, by executing commands. uh, linux is a Linux also provides graphical interface, but if you talk about the powerful mechanism, then shell is a powerful mechanism which will uh, do every task for you, which graphical interface may not do it for you. Take for example, if you want to create a single folder, what graphical interface allows you to do, it will allows you to right click on a desktop and create a new folder. But what if you want to create multiple folders at a specific time or at a single time? What will you do? You can't do it with graphical interface or user interface. You can do it with shell or command prompt. Okay, so shell is a powerful mechanism that will allow you to do very powerful tasks in Linux. Okay, next is a graphical interface. I just talked about. Okay, Linux also provides graphical interface, but it is not that good as Windows. And very important point here, I would like to share it with you, is that Windows is moving towards Linux, and Linux is moving towards Windows. As you all know, Linux is a powerful operating system. It is more secure as compared to Windows. Okay, so Windows is moving towards Linux to get more secure. Okay, like Linux, and Linux is moving towards Windows, as Windows provides a good user interface. So Linux is also trying to achieve that powerful interface that Windows provides. Okay, next we'll talk about the applications. What are applications? Applications are the real entity that we use on the system. Okay, you just need to install the application and use it as per your need. Okay, so these were the components, main components of an operating system. Okay, let's talk about the differences between Linux and Unix. Most of the people think that Linux and Unix are same, which is not. Okay, Linux is not a Unix operating system. Linux is a clone of Unix. Okay, it is a clone of Unix operating system. It is not a Unix operating system. Okay, Linux has been made from Unix operating system, but it is not Unix operating system. Unix is very heavy as compared to Linux. Let's talk about the differences between the two. Okay, so Linux is, as we all know, as we have talked about, it's an open source, and Linux is not. Okay, second is Linux is cheaper as compared to Unix. Unix is very expensive, and big companies use Unix. the original design has been provided by Unix. Okay, original design uh, was provided by Unix, and Linux is just a clone of it. You can say Linux is a part of Unix. Next, we talk about hardware oriented. Linux is Linux hardwares are independent, and Unix hardware are dependent. If you talk about Linux systems, then Red Hat, CentOS are a few of the Linux. And if you talk about Unix, then IBM, AIX, Solaris are the Unix operating systems. So this was all about Unix and Linux. Okay, Linux is a Unix-like operating system, but it is not a Unix operating system. Okay, now we'll talk about Linux and Windows. We all know Windows provides a good user interface. Okay, let's talk about Linux and Windows. Okay, uh, first point is Linux provides uniform top level. Okay, that means slash. Sorry for that. Slash is at the top level. Okay, and Windows are multiple has multiple top levels. Okay, like C drive, G drive, E drive. Okay, here in Linux, all other directories are is from slash. One more important point is Linux is highly case sensitive. Okay, and Windows is not. Let me give you an example of this. If you are creating a folder named with Sachin with capital S in a particular directory, okay, so if the directory already has a Sachin with a small s, the system will not allow you to create another folder with the same name with a capital S. Okay, the reason is why, because the folder has already been created for in that directory with a small s. So here capital and small s both means the same. Whereas in Linux, these two folders or these two files are kept different. Okay, if you will create a new folder in Linux with a capital S, and if small s is already there in a directory, then it won't ask you about the existence of the file. Okay, so here capital S and small s both means different. here in Linux, which is not is the case in Windows. Okay. The third point is Linux extensions. Okay, as we all know, extensions perform a special meaning in Windows. For example, if you're creating a Word file or Word document and you're saving it, then it will be saved with doc extensions. That signifies that a particular file is nothing but a document, a Word document. Okay, but extensions do not have any specific meaning in Linux. You can use extensions here, but that will not signify anything. That is only for user understanding that a particular file is a Word file or an image file or a video. Okay, so it won't signify anything in Linux. They don't have any meaning in Linux, but in Windows, yes, extensions do have special meanings. So Linux do not have any special meaning for Linux. Oh, sorry, for extent do not have special meaning. But in Windows, extensions do have special meaning. Let me justify my point here. For example, in Linux, if you are creating a Word document or anything, you can save it like this without any extension file. Okay, but in future, if you are opening, if you are referring this file, you won't be able to understand whether it's an image file or a video file or any other file. Okay, so just to give an understanding to a user, you can save it with like this file.txt. Though this does not have any meaning, but it will give an explanation to a user that this is nothing but a text file. Okay, same as with an image. If this file contains an image, you can save it file.img or any other word. Okay, this will just tell you that this is nothing but an image. So this is what Linux. Okay, let's talk about the next point. This was the important points that I talked about. Let's talk about the other parts. Okay. I just forgot to tell you a very important point about Linux is everything that you see in Linux is nothing but a file. Every resource that is being there in Linux is nothing but a file. Okay, whether it's a printer or a CPU or any other resource that you see there is a file. Okay, so you deal with file, actual file, so it becomes easier for you to manipulate a file or to modify any changes that you want to do in a file. You can do so easily here. This is a very important point of Linux. So these were the points of Linux and Windows. uh, So these were the important points about Linux, what Linux is, the differences between Unix and Linux, differences between Windows and Linux. There are many other differences, but these are the main important, the most important points that I have covered here. Okay, in my next sessions, I'll talk about the installation part. How can we install Linux in our systems? Okay, I'll be using VMware okay, to use Linux. Okay, you will also get an idea how we use Linux in industries. So this will make you very confident of using Linux in industries as well. Yeah, in my next sessions I'll be talking about the installations. Okay, then how to use commands, what are the different commands, what are the main commands that will help us while using Linux and all that.